Hello, this is Gabriel Grunwald, and I'm doing my interactive game essay on Ashwell's Bestiary of Player Agency. As you can see here, the structure of my interactive essay, and I will begin right now. For the reference, for whoever's grading this, you can skip the the typewriter effect by clicking. So for this essay, I really wanted to focus on more of the narrative agency that Ashwell goes over and how they connect to each other, because those were just the more interesting aspects of agency to me. And probably the biggest, most interesting one to me was the big choice structure. And you see the big choice pretty much everywhere. It's great in climaxes, superhero movies, spy movies, just pretty much anything climaxes. Um, and usually the big choice structure for if it is a climax, they will use popular moral dilemmas that have been a part of pop culture for forever and have been theorized. And one of these, for example, is actually the trolley problem. So the trolley problem is most people have heard of it by now because of how popular it is, but essentially you can choose to save one person. You can choose to save your loved one at the sacrifice of five people's lives, or you can sacrifice your loved one to save five people's lives. Um, and this is, incredibly tough choice. It's like the whole point of this problem is that there's no right answer. There's no way to win. Either way will result in death, and technically you will be killing them. But you know, I'm not here to analyze the trolley problem. It's more in the narrative sense, at least for the big choice structure. More and more people, more and more writers have been cheating through the trolley problem, where the hero, for example, like Spider-Man, uh, is able to save both people, is able to save both parties, and that's just not how the trolley problem works, and it weakens the effect of the big choice. So in order to do it right, you can't cheat. And The Last of Us is great at this. You can't cheat the dilemma. Um, if you haven't heard of The Last of Us, the premise is post apocalypse. These survivors, Joel and Ellie, are traveling across the country uh, because Ellie is immune to the zombie virus, and they're trying to get her to one of the few remaining laboratories in the country to try and extract the vaccine from her. And spoiler alert, in the end, Joel learns that getting the vaccine from Ellie would end up killing her. So he decides to save her at the cost of pretty much everyone in the laboratory's life. He shoots his way in there and kills everyone and saves Ellie at the cost of pretty much the entire human race, because no vaccine could ever be developed without Ellie. Um, this is a great example of it because it doesn't cheat the dilemma. Joel doesn't they don't come up with a magic solution, magic potion, no ex machina to somehow get the vaccine and save Ellie's life. You have to pick one, and that's the whole point of these dilemmas of the trolley problems, and that's how you have to do if you're gonna do big choice. You have to do it like that. To continue on to protagonism, protagonism is the player's desire for the character to be the center of the story. This comes from people's desire to, feel in control of their life. They want to be the driving force behind what happens to their lives. Um, yeah, exactly. Self insertion, another word, wanting to identify with the player character. This is kind of an extension of protagonism. Uh, is exactly what it sounds like. You want to be able to identify with the player, you want to be able to relate to them to put yourself in their shoes. It just makes it easier to live in the story and read through the story because you want to project yourself onto the character and have a little escapism. Moving on, we go to focus. Both these choices lead to the same one, uh, which I'll talk about in focus. Focus actually refers to how effective the game is at making every option seem interesting and enticing to the player, uh, especially in choose your own adventure books, not books, games, something like Detroit Become Human. Every choice should seem interesting to the player. It should have an appeal to the player. Otherwise, it's bad game design. Moving on to aesthetic agency. This refers to the player's control over the superficial elements of the game, stuff like cosmetics, clothes the player character can wear, armor, stuff like that. You don't see this particular type of agency a lot in narrative heavy games, at least not for the majority of video game history, but it's actually becoming more true with technological advancements. You'll see in games like Cyberpunk 2077, it's a role playing game, and you, the player, actually have the ability to completely have complete control over your character's appearance. And this actually serves, again, as an extension from the identity agency, where it just helps you project yourself onto the player character in a way that you wouldn't be able to without having control over their appearance. Negative agency is it's exactly what it sounds. It's the opposite of agency. It is a lack of control over what the player character is doing. You don't have a choice. Going back to The Last of Us, for example, it's not exactly a role playing game, but you do, as the player, you do have the ability to make choices like dialogue and certain actions and stuff like that. But in the end, you do not have the choice to sacrifice Ellie or to save her. You have to go throughout the motions just to continue playing the game. This serves to highlight the fact that Joel, the character you're playing as, doesn't have a choice in their mind. He just won't be able to live with himself if he doesn't save Ellie. All right, that is a very brief overview of the topics that I discuss in this essay. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.